Hey guys, it's Michael. Thanks for joining in. If you could like, follow, share, and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow. Let's begin with language. Kubrick rarely chooses names casually. Let's look at the name Marion. Say the word Marion, and now look at the word marionette. A marionette is a figure suspended by strings. A body appearing alive. Motion guided from above. Expression choreographed through invisible control. And this connection feels deliberate. Now place that beside Carl, her fiancé, the math professor. Carl derives from the Germanic Karl, K-A-R-L, which also means free man. Historically, the term described a man with standing, not a serf, not bound, a person who possessed agency within a structured society. The name traveled through European history, in guilds, craft orders, trade fraternities, organized networks of men who built cities, cathedrals, and institutions. Over time, such guild culture evolved into formalized hierarchies, structured systems with initiation and secrecy, ritual, degrees of belonging. The word Carl carried weight. Free man meant participant within architecture of order. Now look at Kubrick's pairing, Marion and Carl. One phonetically tethered to the idea of suspension, a marionette. One historically tethered to autonomy inside institutions, Carl. That tension operates quietly in their scene. Marion's next to her father's body, emotional, unmoored, vulnerable. She confesses her desire to Bill to abandon everything, leave stability, escape the future mapped out in front of her. She plans to marry Carl. She says she does not want that life. Then Carl enters. He's composed, and he's dressed cleanly. He seems contained. He belongs to structure. Marion wavers inside uncertainty. Kubrick stages this interaction inside a space loaded with history. The father just died. The patriarch is gone. There's an authority vacuum. There's a moment of transition here. Historically, European high society functioned through marriage as alliance. Families preserved wealth through contracts disguised as romance. Daughters moved from one sphere of protection into another, from father's house into husband's. No dramatic coercion required. Expectations shaped the outcome. In aristocratic Europe, women rarely controlled economic destiny. Education centered around refinement rather than autonomy. Marriage secured position, stability, and survival. Choice often existed within boundaries already drawn. Now consider Marion's emotional confession to Bill. She speaks with urgency. Desperation surfaces. A yearning for rupture. And then Carl enters. His presence shifts immediately. Marion retracts. Her body language changes. Her voice softens. Narrative pivots towards normalcy. And then gravity returns. Power doesn't require a raised volume. Authority often functions through assumption. Carl represents continuity of order. He doesn't appear monstrous. He appears very stable and dependable and kind of reasonable. And that's really important here. Hidden power structures rarely announce dominance overtly. They operate through culture, through tradition, through internalized expectation. Guild culture in Europe established networks that shaped trade, governance, even urban planning. Over centuries, those networks influenced banking systems, political frameworks, even educational institutions. Membership conferred status. Status conferred access. And access conferred influence. The free man, quote unquote, belonged to such architecture. Marion's name, echoing marionette, suggests adaptation within that architecture. A person raised inside privilege may never perceive constraints clearly. Boundaries feel normal. Choices feel personal even when shaped by inherited systems. When Marion says she does not desire her life, her awareness surfaces just briefly. She has an awareness of her strings. And then structure reasserts itself. Kubrick consistently examines hidden hierarchies throughout the film. The mass gathering later reveals an elite circle operating behind velvet, behind this ritual that we're all watching. There's wealth there, and influence, and immunity, Participants belong to something larger than themselves, and the membership protects them. Carl never appears inside that ritual sequence explicitly in the same way as central figures. Yet, visual parallels emerge. A couple stands elevated on the balcony during the ceremony. The man is upright, and the woman is masked. Here's hierarchy encoded visually. Marion's moment of vulnerability stands in contrast to elite composure elsewhere. Kubrick grounds this theme historically. Late 19th and early 20th century Europe saw consolidation of industrial wealth. Banking dynasties rose, private clubs flourished. Invitations governed access to influence. Marriage remained transactional at upper levels of society. Romantic language often masked economic alliance. In such environments, agency for women narrowed further. Reputation carried enormous weight, and deviants risked exile from protection networks. Marion's father dies. The protector is gone. Carl stands ready to assume that role. Security transfers seamlessly. There's no villain speech here. There's no villain speech even necessary. The structure continues. And Bill arrives as an outsider. He's a doctor, and he's professional. He enters an intimate moment and briefly destabilizes equilibrium. Marion reaches toward an alternate path. Emotional intensity peaks. Carl's arrival restores that expected trajectory. The contrast between Bill and Carl also illuminates power dynamics. Bill drifts through the film uncertain and reactionary. He's pulled by curiosity. Carl stands anchored within a predefined role. And the names amplify symbolism. Marion and Carl. The sound pattern embedded inside language hints at that dynamic. Kubrick often encoded meaning through subtlety rather than exposition. The set design, blocking, naming conventions, wardrobe, lighting choices all communicate undercurrent. Here, naming alone plants the seeds. One character aligns with inherited structure, and one experiences inner fracture. When Marion admits dissatisfaction, she momentarily recognizes external shaping forces. That recognition rarely lasts in systems reinforced by culture. Hidden power structures maintain themselves through normalization, repetition across generations. Marriage, wealth transfer, club membership, social gatherings, each piece reinforces network. Individuals inside such systems often believe they exercise full freedom, yet options narrow invisibly. Carl's demeanor suggests comfort inside an established order. Marion's emotional turbulence suggests awareness of constraint. The pairing illustrates how hierarchy can operate without overt cruelty. One person defines trajectory, and another adapts. Agency and ballast need not involve aggression. It can emerge through who initiates decisions, who frames future, who carries institutional backing. Eyes Wide Shut is consistently exploring intersections between intimacy and institutional power. The elite gathering functions as a macro example of that. Marion and Carl function as the micro. Same pattern scaled differently. Power concentrated. Compliance normalized. Desire suppressed. When Marion says she lives a life she doesn't want to, the audience hears tremors of awakening. Awakening to conditioning. Awakening to invisible architecture. Then routine resumes. Carl enters the room. She becomes obedient again. Historical context strengthens interpretation. Aristocratic women often relied on marriage for survival. Financial independence was rare. Social exile was very severe. Even in late 20th century settings, remnants of those structures linger through family expectation and economic dependency. Kubrick situates the story in modern-day Manhattan, yet European echoes remain strong. The names, the accents, the ritual aesthetics all evoke older continent. Elite continuity transcends geography. Carl is a free man, and it reflects membership inside the framework. And if you all know, free man is another term for Freemason, the builders of structure. Marion, as Marionette, reflects adaptation within that framework. The power imbalance hides beneath civility. There's no shouting, no overt commands. There's only gravity here. That subtlety makes dynamic unsettling. The audience senses tension without any dramatic confrontation. Kubrick is trusting us, the viewers, to perceive that subtext. One stands anchored in order just from his name alone, and one briefly is questioning her strings. And then quiet returns. The film never resolves Marion's future explicitly. Her confession lingers unresolved, reinforcing theme that awareness alone doesn't dismantle hierarchy. The hidden structures endure unless consciously challenged. Names echo long after the scene ends. Language contains architecture, and Kubrick understood that. Marion, Marionette, Carl, free man. A puppet recognizing threads. A free man embedded in a system. The tension between those two energies reflects broader mediation on elite continuity and personal agency. Within that small bedroom scene rests entire commentary on power that doesn't need to declare itself to remain dominant. Do you think Carl and Marion were at the mansion that night? Drop your comments down below. And don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest movies ever made.